Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Well, we took a hit with the precious metals today. Let's explore some of the reasons why. This comes to us from MarketWatch. Gold gives up March high to settle back below $1,300 an ounce. Palladium men set a fresh record with Fiat Chrysler recall expected to boost the metal's demand. So there's some interesting news happening in the world of precious metals today. Gold futures pulled back below the $1,300 an ounce level on Thursday, giving up their highest levels of the month, as the U.S. dollar regained its footing and investors appeared to shrug off political turmoil in the United Kingdom surrounding the country's preparations for exiting from the European Union. In fact, they voted to delay the exit today. And here we can see the chart for the futures there. Gold for April delivery was down negative 1.04% on COMEX, fell $14.20 or 1.1% to settle at $12.95.10 an ounce. On Wednesday, prices for the most active contract marked the highest settlement since February the 28th. May silver was down negative 1.79%. It dropped 28.5 cents or 1.8% to $15.17 an ounce. We'll kind of look at these numbers closer here in a moment. The move to delay or even cancel March 29th Brexit deadline boosted risk on sentiment, pulling some of the hot money out of the gold derivatives. Adrian Ash, head of research at Bullion Vault, told MarketWatch. After gold futures settled Thursday, UK lawmakers voted to request an extension of the March 29th Brexit deadline. The move would require the unanimous approval of the EU's other 27 governments, and I'm sure they'll probably vote to approve that. Electronic trading Thursday afternoon, April gold was at $12.9630, a bit above the day's settlement. Gold had climbed for a second day on Wednesday to post its highest close of the month as UK lawmakers ruled out the possibility of the country exiting the EU without an agreement on London's future relationship with Brussels. But Parliament has yet to approve an agreement with the EU, with lawmakers having twice rejected a plan worked out by UK Prime Minister Theresa May. So it caused some concerns there. For gold, underlying physical demand is recovering as prices hold below February's multi-month highs, said Ash. Whatever Band-Aid Brussels and London try to keep things together, the political fault lines over trade, debt, and sovereignty are widening. The British pound jumped Wednesday after the vote to rule out a no-deal Brexit helped to weaken the dollar. On Thursday, the U.S. dollar was stronger versus most major rivals, with the ICE U.S. dollar index up 0.31%, a measure of the currency against six major rivals. The breadbasket of currencies there. A stronger dollar can weigh on commodities priced in the unit because it makes them more expensive to users of other currencies. Gold maintained losses after data Thursday showed first-time applications for unemployment benefits rose last week to a one-month high, though the level of layoffs in the U.S. remained extremely low. Separately, data showed the cost of imported goods rose 0.6% on February, though the rise was driven largely by a 5% rise in the cost of oil, natural gas, and other energy costs. Excluding fuel, import prices were unchanged. Sales of new U.S. homes dropped almost 7% in January to a 607,000 annual rate. And the housing market, is definitely, there's some concern in that area. And some say that 2019 may be a major pullback in real estate. Another metals trading, copper, fell 4.65 cents or 1.6% to $2.88 or $2.89 a pound. Platinum fell $14.60 or 1.7% to $827.10 an ounce after tracking on a 1.2% a day earlier, while June palladium was up 0.46%, added $7.90 or 0.5% to a record settlement of $1,514.60 an ounce. Fiat Chrysler Automobile said late Wednesday that it's recalling nearly 863,000 gasoline-driven vehicles in the U.S. after some didn't meet federal emission standards. If this means that the catalytic converters have to be replaced, it could result in a boost in palladium consumption of some 77,000 ounces, said analyst at Zana Precious Metals. And I will kind of talk a little bit more about that because, I've spoken about how palladium versus platinum, and this particular recall could, in the very immediate turn, possibly cause some buzz, and that there's going to be a demand for palladium. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. They could use this particular time to retool to be able to use platinum, which would work just as well in a catalytic converter situation. So we can see that it is the only metal that is up here. Of the four metals here, gold is down 1297.07 from the scroll from the top here. Silver's at 1522. Platinum is still above that $800 range though. And I think we're starting to kind of see this. I think that's part of the reason why platinum is going up. Now, keep in mind, platinum typically and all the precious metals kind of follow each other. They kind of follow gold, really. Gold is kind of the king of the precious metals, not necessarily in price per se, but it's the markets that they watch for that, and silver kind of follows. But silver is an interesting animal because it's the duality metal, and its use as a commodity is much more so than gold. But I think some of those future trading is going to involve gold and silver futures trading, and I believe they're kind of tied. And of course, platinum and palladium tend to follow, but I think that's kind of why we're seeing some of the movement with palladium moving in the other direction. Of all these metals here that you see on your screen, palladium is actually the king here as far as terms of price, but it dwarfs in comparison to rhodium, which is a very specialized metal and a very speculative amount there. For sure, but it's quite interesting to see that it's over $3,100 an ounce now. Where will things head from here? Well, people think, I talked about when is the best time to buy gold and silver. There was a video I posted about that a while ago. And typically March and early spring is typically a good time to buy gold and silver, depending. And the prices could, go lower. Now, I made a purchase last night before this big drop, of course, and that's typically what happens. I make a purchase and the price goes down, but that's okay. It wasn't a whole terrible amount of gold and silver, but nonetheless, it's typically the case. And, it just goes to show you that, you can't beat yourself up when the prices do go down like this, because it's really hard to predict. But my hope is as the year goes on, since I'm in accumulation mode, the prices will stay a little bit lower. But this is quite a pretty big move for these precious metals, for sure. And what are your thoughts? Do you think these prices are short-lived where they're at? And do you think we're going to be climbed back up again? You'll notice that gold has flirted below that floor of $1,300, which I thought was going to be a pretty solid floor through the year here, but it's obviously dipped below that. Silver has very briefly gone below $15, but basically $15 has been a pretty solid floor for silver. And platinum's floor, I think, is $800, and it's staying above that now. And so I think that we're going to start to see movements. I think there's a potential for a lot more movement in platinum at this point, especially if Chrysler decides to retool, something that the article here didn't mention. But I think it's a real possibility. Just depends on what kind of infrastructure they have in place in order to do that with these converters. But I mean, if there's a recall, they want to minimize their costs. And I know that depending on the availability of palladium, the physical availability, not just the cost, and the availability of platinum, which should be more available, I think that's going to probably weigh into the decisions made there. But there you go. So there you have it. And with Brexit, it's interesting to see how Brexit is weighing in on precious metal prices. It's obviously, I think, had some effect, but something's going to happen, and I think a lot of these prices are sort of baked in. And my feeling is it's not going to have a whole lot of an effect once things occur. It's the uncertainty of it now that I think is what's happening. But as each day goes by, there's going to be, we're closer and closer to the reality of the situation. Worst case scenario to the naysayers of Brexit is that no deal will happen and they'll exit and they'll have to renegotiate trade and the like and everything, and that will cause some sort of chaos. But I think there's the expectations of that as a possibility, and they're already planning for the outcome of what could occur from there. But regardless, we'll see how it plays out, and I think that gold and silver will be minimally affected by such a move. Either way, really. We'll see how it plays out. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude, y'all, for watching, and encourage you to please rate, comment, and subscribe.